Welcome to 0K, a strategy game in a similar vein to games such as Supreme Commander, and a game that I have actually spent quite a bit of time playing. It's quite enjoyable, and I've racked up quite a few hours playing it. I plan on doing for a series on the campaign on normal difficulty, as I have already done most of the campaign on easy. Starting here on Planet Folsom, the tutorial, and going all the way over to the last mission, which I never managed to get to. Let's just dive quickly into it. Here, a bit of my voice acting. Emergency boot sequence complete. Terminating pilot hibernation. Recovering data. Recovery incomplete. See log file for error list. Alert. Commander unit systems unresponsive. Movement, armament, construction, IFF. External reboot required. Welcome aboard, missing data. Do you wish to see the tutorial? Yes or no? Huh? What? Where am I? I can't think clearly. That noise. Is that weapon fire? Let's get into the actual tutorial. This is fairly simple, but it is nonetheless good to see a bit of a full playthrough, in my opinion, just to see how the game works. Also, other than this first little loading screen, I now have a new video editing software which I've gotten, which is one of the reasons I picked 0K. So I will be removing most unimportant scenes from my video. Alright. These are glaives right here. You can see tutorial in the top left if you want. They are probably the most basic infantry in this game. And this is just a tutorial, of course, so it shouldn't be too difficult to win even with basic units. You hit A to draw a line, and that is attack move. That's actually a nice feature of this game. You can draw shapes with your units and attack move. So instead of, say, StarCraft, where it's just attack move to a point, you can actually draw simple, but formations, even if they are simple. These are Knights, which are a lightning assault unit, which lightning in the literal sense of shooting lightning bolts. As you can see there, the lightning stuns. Oh no. Okay, there we go. Almost lost the assault bots. And now we have our commander. The commander is a feature that you might recognize if you've played a game like Supreme Commander, in that this is, well, it sort of represents you on the battlefield. It can build basic structures, as you see here. Well, any structure really, but it's not as quick as having a pack of workers build it for you. And can just basically set you up in whatever ventures you're taking part in. It also has a significant amount of health. Here's a factory. You get one free one at the start of every mission, and then you have to pay for them. But factories are the key component of your base. they build any unit that you really need, as long as it's from that type of factory. For example, this Cloakbot factory right here cannot build a ship, for example, which is in the game. This little device there is a metal extractor, which is one of your main resources, and this is a solar collector, which gives you power, your other main resource. Basically, all we need to do at the moment is gather up a clump of glaives and try and run them across this bridge to break some defenses over here. I will bring my knights over and have my commander repair them both. All of the units that you can actually build in this game are robotic, so that's a nice addition compared to something, say, like the original StarCraft, is that you can actually repair your units instead of just having Marines running around on 2 HP. But let's just finish off this tutorial really quickly. We'll take out these 2 light defensive turrets, and these skirmisher units. Or not, let's just... This is the enemy commander who we're attempting to kill. Almost? There we go, just barely killed him. And that is the very first mission. I will explain more things as the game progresses, but that is not the most interesting of levels. It's just a how do I move, more or less. Here's a bit more story. But before that, you unlock, as with any campaign, different structures and tech as you win levels, and your commander slowly gains experience. As they gain experience, they can load more and more modules onto them, which can increase their power in various ways. But here's some more story. What am I doing here? What am I doing on this hostile fortress world? Was I captured? If so, why was I not dismantled prior to transport? There is no trace of planetary assault, so what caused the battle and my reactivation? Subversion by deep agents? A mistimed diversion? Why hasn't anyone intervened yet? Something feels very wrong. With the enemy commander destroyed, I was able to make a nearby starship answer my distress call. This is my chance to jump out of the system. And right to the next planet. Oh, this would normally have a description here when I hovered over it, but 0K, unfortunately, in my experience, has a rather bad case of spaghetti code. If you play it yourself, expect to find some minor glitches, such as certain bits of text not showing up. Still, a fun game, and mostly the glitches occur in the campaign for whatever reason. But anyway, how long have I been sleeping? Centuries? No, stars have drifted too much. And this commander, I've never seen anything like it. What was I doing in that thing? I cannot stay here. These automata are everywhere, and when they are not fighting each other, they attack me as soon as I stop moving. Here you see a number of bonus objectives, which I can't read due to the aforementioned glitch, but I believe it will tell them to us once we're in the mission. Let us just dive right in. This is also more or less a tutorial mission. I believe after this or the next one, the actual campaign proper, as I guess you would call it, opens up to you. Planet Im Jaleth. I hope to avoid local forces, but there are simply too many of them. Still, this battle should be straightforward. I will simply overwhelm them with an army of glaives and reavers, and then take that factory out. I can do this. Some simple info. Metal extractors gather the metal required to build an army and crush your opponent. Take mech spots that you can see here and in the gray circles on the map to build those mech spots. All constructions require an equal amount of metal and energy, and solar collectors are the only way to get power at our current point in the campaign. And lastly, reavers are sort of heavy machine gun defensive units. They're slower, but they hit quite hard. Our bonus objectives are have 3 metal extractors, have 3 solar generators, building a radar tower, building 10 glaives, and building 3 reavers. Bonus objectives will give our commander more experience than if we just, say, cheesed and steamrolled over to the enemy base.
Warzone active.
Which is actually surprisingly a viable strategy because of the commander being so durable. But anyway, let's get a builder out into the wild. The builders for the cloak bots are called conjurers, and a nice feature is they're cloaked unless they're building something or an enemy gets too close to them. As you can see, that little blue field around him and his slightly transparent nature at the moment means that he is cloaked. Now, we've already completed one of the objectives, but let's try and complete some more. The little blue circles around these structures are power fields, which will be introduced further later on. But as long as a mech is within a power field connected to an energy-producing structure or a pylon, which will be introduced later, it produces more metal, as long as you have bonus energy. Well, let's send him up here to build a radar tower. Information is very much so key in this game, and it can really decide whether or not you win. Let's just kick off our production. And while we're at it, let's build one of... Oh. That's annoying. If you build a factory nearby to another factory, like you try and do that, it will instead construct a plate. I believe they are cheaper, I think, but either way, those depend upon the main factory and take less room. Wait a moment. Okay, so there's the enemy commander. I have 42,000 health, and he is 38,000 health. We both have the same weapon. I'm afraid that most loyal opposition over here is about to lose. Unless he runs away. Yeah, I'm also really slow. So that's... I guess I won't be catching up to him. These blue lines on the ground are radar, and an interesting feature of radar is that terrain blocks it out. So if you have, say, this hill in the way, if I built the radar down here, I couldn't see any of this part of the map. But because I built this radar up here, it can. Now, let's start getting my troops off onto the map. So that we can go kill the enemy commander. And while I'm at it, let me get another conjurer out And a cloakbot plate. I don't really need it, but I want it. That will let me build 2 different units simultaneously. And now, let's just turn on repeat. This is a very nice feature for anybody who's playing this. Repeat, if you enable that on the command card, means you will just infinitely build any troops you have queued up. That is incredibly helpful as compared to just having to do it one at a time. But anyway, we've completed all the necessary objectives. And can more or less just mob the enemy base. Namely, their poor commander who I beat up earlier. Well, my glaives took his lunch money, but he took their lives. Commanders detonate quite violently when they die. Which isn't great for me. But oh well. Let's move that over there. You can tell workers to assist of building and constructing units, which is of great help. And now we more or less just win, because I have 2 glaives here, and the best they have is that Lotus Tower. Or rather, Reavers. The glaives are the smaller version. Reavers, despite their slow speed, are hilariously effective once they get into actual range. And that's the end of the 2nd mission, and the beginning of... oh, one more mission in the way. But as you can see, we're slowly leveling up. Now we've unlocked a few additional bits and bobs. Here's some more lore, I guess. Im Jaleth ruins. This world has been abandoned for a very, very long time. What few ruins I had time to unearth were buried very deep, and were abruptly demarcated in the geological strata. For some reason, the entire planet seems to have been abandoned at once, and never repopulated. Was it kept empty as a buffer for the fortress world of my awakening, depriving themselves of a good inhabitable world like this one for a small strategic gain? Feels wasteful. And again, no one has challenged me beyond automated defenses. No hails, no communications. Automata can be left to their own devices pretty much indefinitely, but why keep a whole world empty and not leave overseers to deal with any surprises? I hope you enjoy my voice acting. I intend to do a lot of it for this. But here is our commander, and this is an important part of the campaign. You can equip him with various items. I will give him some ablative armor plates, as they do not slow him down, and give him extra health. And at the moment I have nothing beyond the basic beam laser to arm him with. But equipping your commander with the right equipment can mean the difference between a horrific slog through the AI constantly pressing back against you, and basically just a 5-minute speed run of just moving your commander to the opposite side of the map. Beth, I don't remember my Roman numerals, but anyway, where is everyone? Automated systems and non-sapient life are still there, but no trace of intelligent beings. No humans, no cyborgs, no free machines, nothing. Most of the unit blueprints are gone. I will need to find new copies on my way out of here. We have 4 bonus objectives, and we'll be unlocking a weapon, the Ronin, which is a fun unit to annoy enemies with, and some speed boosts for our commander. But let's get into the mission.
Command console activated.
Ah, there we go. If that worked correctly, you just had a quick cut. So, we'll see about that. Anyway, we have to build a cloakbot factory, have 10 metal extractors, build 10 Ronins, and find and destroy all 4 enemy Stardust turrets. And also destroy the enemy commander and cloakbot factory. Most of the missions in the campaign simply result in you having to destroy their infrastructure and commander, but actually getting to that point is surprisingly difficult, 9 times out of 10. But anyway, there are powerful close-range Stardust turrets and Reavers protecting them from my raiders. Once I have a Cloakbot factory up and running, I will have to counter them with long-range Ronins and open the way for taking their production systems out. The Stardust turrets they're talking about are riot turrets, and they are stupidly effective against anything that actually bothers to get close enough to them. Actually going near to them is probably one of the biggest weaknesses of the Stardusts, as most things can outrange them. The Ronins are a rocket launcher-armed skirmisher unit from the Cloakbot factory that can fire from a great deal of range outside of the Stardust's range, and they're able to simply back away from Reavers. Also, it's telling me about the construction units simply helping out the main structure to construct units faster. But let's just get a Cloakbot factory down and... okay, let's park a Reaver over here, a Reaver over here, now I have to be very concerned about this little git running around, because those glaives can simply run past the rockets my Ronin shoots and dodge quite effectively. But let's get a couple conjurers out into the wild and start building some mexes. And while we're at it, let's get a solar collector up and running. But there... back up. Back up. No, you idiots. No, you idiots, you can't shoot him. And that is why skirmishers are countered by units like the glaive. How irritating. Oh, you overexcited morons. There. Okay, and I think they shot each other in the back while they were at it. But anyway, let's build a Cloakbot plate just for the sake of being able to multitask production, because it's annoying. I don't like having to stop my build queues to build a few workers. And let's just send the Reaver over here while we're at it. Let's get some Ronins out the door. And maybe a few Reavers. Oh, that's a problem. Their commander has decided to say hi. Wub wub wub, the Wubrior Master. Whatever. But anyway, that is a Guardian Commander chassis, which is really durable. And that is a problem because none of my units can now hit him. The unit matchup in this game could be surprisingly annoying, with some of them that just can't harm each other. Or more accurately, can harm one can harm the other back, but let's kill him off. Are these... Okay, this is ludicrous. Back up, you moron. As you can see there, if the glaives are distracted by something else, then they can still be hit. But my commander is about to keel over, and I am not building stuff fast enough. Anyway, let's wait till I actually have some... Oh, I didn't turn on auto build. Oh well. Okay, now that I actually have one of these dudes up to help me, let us resume trying to push forward. I assume this patch of whatever that is will probably have... Let's get another one of these conjurers so that I can start stealthily completing the second bonus objective. But for the time being, let's just auto-build some support troops. Well, they're not support troops, they're going to be the bulk of my force, but either way. Let's go over here and see what this is. Probably has at least a Stardust turret in it. Those are not Stardust turrets, but I'll break them anyway. I'm not actually sure if the AI in the campaign uses, like, an actual economy. In some games, the AI will simply, magic resources out of thin air. I'm not sure if this is one of them, but either way, let's build me some solar collectors, because I'm out of power. You can simply hold shift and left click and drag, and that will produce a line of whatever you happen to be building. So in that instance, I now have a line of solar collectors queued up. There should be another... Let's get some more metal extractors. Ah, here's a Stardust. And their commander is somewhere nearby. That particular chassis that their commander is using produces drones to help defend himself. But they are very useful, but they're not going to save him from this mob. Well, he's trying, but that is why you run away from Ronins. I see the AI is trying to flank me, and not doing very well. Let's just crest around this ridge. Oh, now they're trying to come back around to attack my units, but... Oh, I walked straight into that, but... Oh well. I'm fielding an army of robots, so I don't very much exactly care. Oh, that's the problem. Where's my commander? Yeah, glaives are annoying. The AI really loves to use them to harass. Let's move my Ronins back off. Let's build a little barrier of those. Let's just go break some of the AI's toys, in case they do actually function off of an economy, so that they won't have an economy with which to function. And my units are shooting each other in the back. Highly intelligent AI right here. They really paid top dollar, whoever designed the blueprints for these things. But I digress. Okay. That's actually a pretty sizable mob of those glaives. Nothing a couple of reavers cannot handle, but nonetheless annoying. I should have enough energy now to resume quickly producing units. So I will do exactly that. Let's see. Where is this last Stardust? Maybe it's over here. Okay. Nothing really over here of any significant interest. As you can see, the Stardust does really well against units like these glaives. And considering that the Reaver is effectively holding 2 of the Stardusts in its hands, they are also quite effective if I can actually catch up to these speedy little gits. Oh, this is good. We're pinning them in the corner. But they're too fast. Okay, and there's the last Stardust. But let's just hold off for one quick moment while I construct a couple more metal extractors. How many metal extractors do I have? Control Z lets you see it selects across the map all of whatever unit type you have selected. So if I click on these Reavers, I have 16 Reavers all across this map. Okay, and with that, I now have all of the bonus objectives, and they have a sizable force descending on their base. And that's Mission 3. Not the most exciting campaign to start off with, for sure. However, it does pick up in difficulty over time. Bit more lore now. Commanders. Commanders are an old concept. Put all the mining and manufacturing required to build an army on a compact chassis. Slap on a weapon and some armor, and harden it all for fast insertion on a hostile planet. Hopefully they send you to a less defended part of the world, where you are left alone long enough to entrench yourself. From there you can launch an assault on strategic locations, or open a gate and wait for the real assault force to arrive. The commander chassis were so effective that many planets opted to use them in defense. Simply send your own commander to wherever the enemy decided to land, then try to kill them before they can build up enough to kill you. A few tried and true models, optimized for cost, effectiveness, and reliability, were developed over countless wars, and remained essentially unchanged for many centuries. My memories are still blurred, but I remember extensively training on those. And yet, this commander of mine is unlike anything I have ever seen. One of the greatest constraints on commander design is the exotic stress of warp travel. Advanced weapons and systems may be built in the field, but no commander was ever able to jump with a full kit. Many groups tried, but I know of none that got close, even in the old days. But this commander can. Every field upgrade I recover stays intact after each jump. I never trained for it or even heard of such a thing, and yet it feels oddly familiar. Something I really wish you could see a mod maker do in this would be, it does note that there's presumptively pre-built assault forces and units in those assault forces that are more high-tech and have to be built in a proper factory. I think it would be quite interesting if a mod maker could theorize some of those such things into existence. But in the meantime, let's add these high-power servos to our commander. He leveled up, which has unlocked us 2 new slots to use. These high-powered servos increase his speed slightly, and speed can majorly help. With construction, of course. And just generally running away. This I haven't mentioned yet, but this is the technology tree, which is everything you can unlock in this campaign. As you can see, it is quite extensive. Quite extensive. But anyway, we can pick between Cygnet here and Myror. I will pick Cygnet because it will unlock this unit called the Sling, which is a very useful early artillery unit. Cygnet. This world was a strategic choke point. There are extensive traces of combat damage, some ancient enough to be covered by once thriving cities. Whoever it was defending, or defending from, there is still an active defense network entrenched down there. I will have to punch through it if I want to access that sector.
Command console activated.
Alright then. Here we go. Planet Cygnet. It is relying on a network of defensive turrets and shielded bots to keep its production infrastructure safe. I will need slings to weaken its defenses and shields before I can commit to an assault. And I will need spotters for those slings. The sling's cannon has the range to shoot turrets from safety, as it is an artillery unit, but in and of itself, it can't see very far, and it's not very good at defending itself, especially against units like the Glaive that are fast-moving. Radar also only reveals the approximate location of enemy forces, so if you actually want to hit them with any degree of accuracy, you typically require a spotter to actually run up and see them. Once they actually have been seen, their exact spot, they're spotted, and then even if you can no longer directly see them, any radar that's on them will have an accurate location. And to further that spotting, radar towers can morph into a unit called a Sparrow, which is a small little scout plane. They want us to, as a bonus objective, they want us to destroy 4 enemy radar towers, have 15 metal extractors, and build 12 slings. So, let us get a conjurer out into the field. And let us get our commander off over here building some mexes for us. Oh. It would appear that that conjurer that was sent out to scout for us, Huh. Wait a second, what? Oh no, he's here. That was my own tower. I thought this enemy tower shot him. But either way, let us build a cloakbot plate, just for the sake of having not to interrupt our normal construction. And let's get 12 plates out, or 12 slings out. Sling, if you hold shift, you produce 5 units with every click, and if you hold control, you produce, I believe it's 20 units per click. That can be majorly helpful instead of having to click 20 times to produce units that, depending on what they are, may last all of 5 seconds in a firefight. Let us build some defenses in this choke pointy area in order to keep them from advancing and breaking our stuff. And then let us build 4 reavers to go along with this 1 reaver to accompany them. And while I'm at it, let me build a conjurer in order to construct some sparrows, because I'm gonna need those. And while these clowns shoot at something they can't even see, I'm going to tell them to actually shoot something valuable and useful. Those little red bubbles are enemy shield bots of some variety. But shields can only help so much. They might just be that convict over there, which is the shield bot's builder unit. But anyway, as you can see, when they can actually see their target, slings are quite effective. Now, you can go break that, and then I want you to go back over there. Holding Shift and Alt lets you create a box of whatever building you are ordering to build. So I'll just create a box of radar towers to convert into sparrows. Now let's set up some automatic production of units over here. Get a spotter in the air for my artillery. Conjurers can also be used as spotters, as was seen here, with this unit revealing the enemy for me, but you have to get them pretty close, and if somebody walks up to them, then their cloak won't save them. There, now that I have my spotter in the air, I can more easily see what the enemy's up to. And more easily spot, of course. I will withdraw this conjurer. Stop production for the moment because I'm running out of both metal and energy, And let us build some more solar collectors to fix that issue. Let's move the sparrow in closer to reveal what this is. The sparrow is very speedy, and considering the fact that they're using mostly shield bots, they can't really reply to my aerial observation, especially with this thug, which as an assault bot is very inaccurate, and even for any assault unit, still very inaccurate. I'll just let my artillery enjoy themselves. And I have a job for you two glaives. Okay. I guess the job is getting rid of this mix, because the AI is being annoying. Shield bot shields, other than blocking each other in like a radius if the units are very close to each other, also will charge each other, which, if one shield gets damaged, another shield that is nearby can give it some energy to repair it. So, effectively, it becomes one massive health pool. So, a bunch of shield bots bunched together can actually be surprisingly difficult to kill. Now, my artillery is having horrible luck on killing these shield bots. There's their commander named Porcupine, who is about to cease to exist. Because now I'm actually sending in my riot units. And that's him done. The AI seemingly tends to play a bit stupider once you killed their commander. I don't know if that's actually a thing, but it seems to be. At least from playing the easy difficulty. I have 12 metal extractors, so I just need to kill that radar tower and take these 3 off of them. And then I can just steamroll into their main base. Oh, it would appear that either their commander or a defensive tower they built took out one of my sparrows. But yeah, doesn't really matter, they're cheap as dirt. Now, okay, my commander is going to die if he tries to take that fight, so I'm going to run him away and not do that. Buildings that are not fully completed, if they happen to be a turret, can't fight. So killing the worker or just trying to pummel it into submission before it can actually do anything is a good idea. But either way, let's park my aerial reconnaissance over there, and let's build a nice little shooting gallery line here, outside of their range. It may be difficult to see, but there's a little line here which represents all of the known turrets' ranges, which is a very helpful little bit of the UI. What's not helpful is that the AI is repeatedly building builders. So my artillery units aren't actually going where I want them to be. The AI in this game has an annoying trend of just consistently building more and more and more units. It never really bunches them up so much as just repeatedly sends more and more in a never-ending stream as long as they have the resources. But in order to prevent them from continuing with this annoyance, I'm just going to send my riot units over. And while I'm at it, get my buildings back up and running. Rather, my construction. Let's move the radar planes a bit closer, because this stuff isn't going to last for very long. And I don't even really need them at this point. I've more than enough riot units to simply clear using them. Oh, and terminology-wise, riot units in this game are units like the Reaver. They're typically not particularly good for whatever reason at engaging structures, as I'm currently using them for, because I am impatient and not willing to take the time to bring the artillery units over. Namely, in the case of the Reaver, because they're quite slow. But, in return, against units that are like the... Oh, don't kill that factory. I still need to make one more metal extractor. Against units like the Glaive, that are very light and nimble, riot units have very good tracking and typically splash damage, which allows them to cut them down quite easily. Assault units, on the other hand, are better at the job that I'm currently using my Reavers for, taking down structures, but are typically horribly inaccurate against highly mobile targets. Artillery typically is the same, but with much longer ranges and much less health. Oh. Are you joking? Okay, I lost a metal extractor at one point, so I didn't get the bonus objective. But oh well. No skin off my back. And now, as you can see here, the glitchiness has reached an all-time peak, and no text is showing up. And I can't even read the story to you with my suave voice. So that will mark the end of this play session, as that requires a reboot of the game. And that was mostly just the early tutorial sections anyway. Glitchy game, AI can be irritating, but the developers really put a good deal of effort into this. And it's free to play. So, hats off to them. I think it's pretty damn good. You can find it on Steam pretty easily, just by looking up 0K, and I'd advise you to give it a go. It's really fun. But anyway, Neil McQuaig, signing off, I guess. Have a nice day.